Hi guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to the last what I'm teaching this week for the year of 2021. Now there's obviously more because I'm only halfway through the school year, but for this like calendar year, this is the last one, which is really exciting. Also, fun fact, I already filmed this video and then I changed so much about these lessons that I was like, it's not even accurate anymore. Let's restart. So in this video, we're talking about 5th grade lessons. 5th grade is going to do like 3 main things. So we're doing March for the Nutcracker, we're doing Sleigh Ride, and we're going to the pianos. Now I've already told you a couple of things about the pianos that I'm repeating this week because I don't know why, but my lessons have been such a disaster. Not the lessons themselves, but like with people coming 15 minutes late every day and, you know, losing that, or having weird schedules, or having pep rallies and PBISs and all of the things that it's just been so wonky that like you know, even like this week I had these lessons and we were supposed to go to the keyboards I think 2 or 3 times, and we only went 1 time, and it was the first time they ever went, and so now they've been once, and then in January we'll do more. So my goal is that in January we're like really gonna go hard on pianos. So for now I'm like, you know what, let's just familiarize them with them and it'll be fine. All of that being said, let's get started. So on Monday, the kids come in and the first thing we're doing is the March activity from my virtual field trip. So this is included in my virtual field trip. There's a whole play along video, which means you can literally just click play and the kids can do it. I tested it for you. I didn't tell them anything about it. I just pressed play and made them do it without helping at all to see if they could do it by themselves, and they could. So the movement activity we do with this, on the A section we play the rhythm. So it goes bum, ba-da-da-dum, bum, 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 bum. And then on the second part of the A section, we wave our hands back and forth and back and forth. On the B section, I tell them tap the snowflakes. So we do 8 down. I don't know if that was 8, and then 8 up. And on the C section, there's a blizzard, and so they do crazy snow flurry hands all around the place. After that, I briefly just say, hey, this is from a ballet, The Nutcracker. This is what a ballet is. This is a little teensy tiny bit about the Nutcracker. I don't really tell them much about it more than like, it's a Christmas ballet where the little girl gets a nutcracker. The nutcracker comes to life. He has a fight with the Mouse King. They go off into like a crazy land, and usually they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's a crazy story. I don't want to give you any spoilers. So that's all I'm going to tell you for now. But then I tell them, we are gonna do a play along with it, and so I throw up Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy play along. We're using the one in my virtual field trip, but there also is a free one available on YouTube, so I will link that one down below. And we play along with that. So this has quarter notes, 8th notes, and quarter rest in it, so it's not very hard for 5th graders, although that quarter rest is the first one, so that's a little bit tricky. So usually we'll do it once. I let them go straight through it, and then after that we'll go through and stop, and we'll look at each rhythm individually, read through them. You know, I'll have them do each one, like just freeze it on a slide and then do the next one. Then after that, I'll have them play through it again, and then I'll give them rhythm sticks, and then they play with the rhythm sticks a couple of times, and by then they are doing a pretty good job. After that, I had them do the play along with March, which is significantly harder because it does have triplets and it also has dotted 8/16. They do not know either of those rhythms. So what I tell them is we go through the rhythm first, and so I'm just like, this one goes bum, ba-da-da-dum, bum, 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 bum. And since they have heard the song already and it's very, very obvious in the piece, usually they don't have really that many problems. And then the same with the I'll just tell them how to do it and they can figure it out very, very quickly. I'm not terribly concerned about them reading it since we haven't learned those, but they can figure it out, and usually the first time I will also play so they can look at me if they are confused. And again, the piece is like loud enough that they can hear those rhythms really easily. On Tuesday, the kids come in and we're doing the March movement activity again, and this time we're adding the parachute. So if you do not have a parachute in your classroom, put it on your Christmas list, put it on your Hanukkah list, because it is amazing. They're not that expensive on Amazon. I have a 12 handle one, and it's a great time. It's a really great time. So what you do with the parachute is I make it goes directly with the body percussion. That's actually why we did the body percussion. So on the A section, on that bum ba da dum bum, we march around in a circle. Then on the second part, where we were waving our hands, we're now moving the parachute back and forth. Then on the B section, where we were going, you know, 8 down, 8 up. We're now moving the parachute 8 up, 8 down, very slowly. On the C section where it was crazy hands, we're now doing little teeny tiny shakes. And then at the end, they end with them straight up and then bring it down super, super, super slow. Having them connected to the body percussion they already did, it makes it really easy for them to add the parachute to it. It also helps them to like know what to do with the parachute, because the parachute can be like overwhelmingly fun. And y'all, if you think that 5th graders, oh my gosh, people always tell me, they're like, our 5th graders are, you know, like, oh, they're big and tough and they're not into things. And I'm like, have you met our 5th graders? Like, because hand a kid a parachute and those big tough 5th grade boys will be like the most fun in their life. Seriously, after we did it, I had like 4 kids the next day. They were like, are we gonna do the parachute today? And I was like, no. And they're like, can we do it tomorrow? I was like, we'll see. So highly, highly, highly recommend. After that, I have them take a seat and I just have them play through the rhythm of the song as kind of like a calming down activity. And then we are going to the keyboards. Again, I've already discussed this. We're going to discuss it one more time. Actually, that's not true. We're going to discuss it again in January, because they're going to have to remember all the things that like 1 or 2 classes got to do. Because again, like this week we only got 1 that got to go through. So what I do is I just throw up a picture on the screen of our keyboards and I kind of orient them like, here's the volume button, here's the split button, you know, like those kind of things. And then I'll show them the black keys, and we talk about the black keys being in a pattern of 2 and 3. And then we'll say, so we call the 2 chopsticks and the 3 forks. And I tell them the one right before the chopsticks is C and the one right before the forks is F. And then we go to the keyboard and we do exactly that. Say, find a group of 2, find a group of 3, find a group of 2, find a group of 3. We'll walk up the keyboard doing 2, 3, 2, 3. And then I'm like, great, find a group of 2. Now go to the one right before it and press it down. That's letter C. And then I'm like, great, if that one's C, what's the next one? They're like, oh, it's D. And I'm like, great, play D. And so we'll go through, and this is a very slow process at first, but like I'm walking around like making sure everyone is playing the right thing. And then once we can get that pretty well, they can usually play like rhythms on the different keys as well. So sometimes I'll just have them pick, I'll say any black key you can play, and play, you know, and we'll echo rhythms back and forth. Sometimes we'll pick certain letters to play. It just really depends on how quickly they're getting it, and also how much time we've had, you know, like did they already get the keyboard last time? I don't know, we shall see. Anyway, on Wednesday, the kids come in and we're starting with Sleigh Ride. So what we're doing is, I'm like, great, we're gonna listen to this song. We already talked about form with March. I left that part out, but we do talk about the form and how we have the A, the B, and the C and all that. And so with Sleigh Ride, we talk about, okay, now we're doing Sleigh Ride, and so we'll look at the form first and identify that and remember our A, B, and C. And then I'll have the kids listen and they just hold up either A, B, or C. I'll do it too, and I end up doing like little actions. So like for the A section, I do like this, and for the B section, I go back and forth, and for the C section, we do I've heard this song once or twice or 7,000 times. Anyway, and so then we're doing the bell routine. This is available for free. Actually, there's a whole Sleigh Ride Google Slides lesson. I will link it down below. It includes talking about the form, talking about the Sleigh Ride, talking about Leroy Anderson, who wrote it. It includes bell routines and cup routines differentiated, so you can use them with different grade levels or different activities. So we're starting with bells, and we're doing like a really easy one on this first day. And so on the first day, we do, on the A section, we just keep the beat. On the B section, we do toss, catch. And on the C section, we play that crescendo and then the clap. So it's like, ba-da-bum, bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-da-bum, bum, 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 ba-dum, and then wave your hands back and forth on this part. And we continue with that. And so usually we do it like once or twice, and then after that we are going back to the keyboard. So this day we are again redoing what we did last time. You know, again, if my kids get to have a Wednesday, we shall see. And then after they, you know, reorient themselves with it, I have, ooh, I brought it, please hold. So after that, I come around and I have these little chord charts that I printed off of littlekidsrock.com.org. I don't know, I'll link it down below, but it is a free website that has a ton of different activities based on modern band stuff. It's not my forte. I'm not into pop songs. I know that's horrible. I try, but like I don't have enough good lessons for them to incorporate them as much as I would like to. But this is one way that I do. And so I put these in, and what it is it outlines the different notes of the chord. So you can put it wherever. So if this is on C, then it'll touch C, E, and G. And so it's a really good way before the kids can figure out what letters to play or what chords are, for them to know what to play along with the song. And the reason we're doing this in particular is because we're doing it with We Will Rock You, which you can get away with playing the whole thing just on C. So I'll put it in and I'll put them all on C. We talk about like do not touch them because then you'll play the wrong thing. We talk about how to play like this is the note you're playing, and then I let them go for it. Usually they'll play that bum 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 rhythm along with it pretty easily, and then they can play just one, they can play all three, and I'll challenge them. I'm like, okay, you can, like the first one I'll be like, just pick one of the three. Then the second time I'll be like, this time see if you can play all three at the same time, you know. And then the second time I'll be like, all right, this time see if you can play like all three but at different times, and they'll come up with different patterns to play along with it. It's a really good way to make that happen. Also, if you wanted them to like improvise or create their own song, that would also be an easy way to make sure that it's gonna like sound good, because it would all be, you know, so me and Joe. And so that would work very well. Now, I thought I was actually gonna get some Thursday activities, and I did not. So instead, on Friday, because I just never have a 5-day week, on Friday, my original plan was to do the 12 Days of Christmas, which is like my all-time favorite lesson for upper grades. And so what we typically do with this is I'll have the kids come up with different actions for each of the different gifts of Christmas. And so sometimes I'll have one kid come up, and so like you are the partridge in the pear tree and you lead that movement, and so they go through, and then you'll have 12 kids at the front and everyone else is copying them, and so they do each of the actions and everyone copies them. You can also do just having them come up with ideas, and like as a class being like, great, this is gonna be our partridge in a pear tree. Every time you hear that, that's what we're doing. What I wanted to do this time was to actually split them up in groups and have them come up with something, and like give them a piece of paper and have them write it down, so that each group was a little bit different, because my 5th graders love group work. But since I didn't have any 5-day weeks, I decided that I would prefer doing the rest of Sleigh Ride. Also, I keep getting sent into the kids' classrooms for like random reasons, and so that also has contributed to, I mean, I guess we could totally do the 12 Days of Christmas in their classroom. I don't know. But I just decided we were going to finish Sleigh Ride instead of doing that. So Sleigh Ride is, we review what we did yesterday, and then I'll add on the B section on that part, it goes bottom, bottom. I'll have the kids, they're doing their toss catch, toss catch. They set it down and they do bottom, bottom. And then they go back to toss and catch. We'll try that a couple times. We'll see if they can do it without my help, and like seeing, you know, who's gonna figure it out. And if I'm not sent into their classrooms and we all sanitize our hands, you can do it as a passing game. Now, originally I had it as the B section being the passing part, I think, but I think I prefer the A section being the passing part. So do it however you want to, and then the other ones stay as they are. Then after that, my kiddos get game time. If they have done a good job, we do teacher versus student points. So they get however many minutes of points they have. However many points they have, that is how many minutes of game time that they get. And so they get to pick a game, and I am strongly encouraging them to pick freeze dance, and we can do like all holiday songs for our freeze dance. But I let them pick whatever, because that's our agreement for the upper grades especially. And that is all that we're doing. So in January, my plan is to like really hit the pianos hard and talk more about like what notes are which. I'm looking for some like easy pieces that we can do. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. I'm particularly looking for ones that we can sing and play. The problem being that most of the ones that are simple enough to play on the piano are like very little kiddish for for 5th grade. Like we did hot cross buns and that worked really well, but again, it's very little kiddish for 5th grade. So leave me your suggestions down below in the comments. I am looking for all the piano help I can get. I've taught class piano pretty much every year, and I think every year I've done it differently, and every year it's still like not that great. So I'm working on it. It's something I'm working on. I'm trying. So we're just gonna keep going until we, you know, figure something out. And if nothing else, the kids love going to the piano, so at least they enjoy it, you know, and at least they get some kind of exposure, and they usually remember at least one note. So as long as no one tells me that one of the notes is H, we're doing pretty well. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy the What I'm Teaching This Week videos, let me know down below in the comments so I know to continue making them in the new year, because we're halfway through this year, which is like blowing my mind. But it doesn't really matter because it's gonna happen whether it's blowing my mind or not. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.